Alright, let's dive into the video. As you guys can see, I have got my base on. I have got some baking powder underneath the eyes, just because I'm going to start off with the eyes. So also with the eyes, I've got some concealer on there and it's already creasing like hell. But yeah, that's what I'm going to use as my eyeshadow base. So let's talk about the products that I have with me. Speaking of eyeshadow, let's start off first with the eyeshadow palette. So this one is the Heartbreaker eyeshadow palette. This one says it is vegan friendly, tested on Sportsgirl, not on animals. Also on the back you've got like a little diagram of different eye colours and complexions that you can use the different colours. Obviously that's just a recommendation. I honestly don't know what I want to do with this just yet. And this retails for $24.95. So opening the palette, that's what it looks like. You've got the mirror over there, and then you've got the shadows there. It also has a plastic film just to cover it. And honestly, the pans are actually quite... Actually, the pans aren't incredibly large. I doubt they're incredibly deep either, but it looks like you've got a decent amount of product. So close up of the colours, as you guys can see, we've got warm tones up top, and then as you go down further you can see they are more on the mauve tone sort of like spectrum. And you've got 3 shades that are quite chunky glitter. I am already leaning towards that one at the end. I'm Fabulous, I'm already leaning towards that, but we'll see. Next we've got the Pretty Cheeky Cheek palette. It has 6 premium powders to add a hint of colour to your cheeks, it says on the back. And this one retails for $19.95. Again, has that plastic film. That's the back, it's got the shade names and everything. Again, this is one of those products from Sportsgirl that I feel really looks like another palette from another brand. When I was looking through their website, I could see there was a couple of palettes and products that kind of look like other products from other brands. That's just my observation. Whether or not that is a good thing or a bad thing, I will let you guys decide. The last product that I grabbed from Sportsgirl is the Sportsgirl Beauty Survivor Brow Pomade. That's what that one looks like in the box. When I was looking at their website, I don't recall seeing many shades. I think medium brown was pretty much the only shade, or maybe there was another shade, but I didn't really like the colour. This to me kind of looks like it's almost like a chocolatey brown, like very cool tone. It might actually be a little bit too dark for my current hair and brow combo, but we'll see. And then another brand available at Sportsgirl is Bouquet Beauty, which is a lash brand by and that's Jacob. I know Jacob, he's one of my friends. Check him out, he's amazing, and I love the fact that he's got these lashes available in a store. Like, that's just mind-blowing. But anyway, I've got 4 to choose from today. Okay, so we're going to start off first with the eyeshadow palette, and let's open her up. I actually really like the fact the mirror is a decent quality mirror. It's not like warping my face or anything. I'd like to go for like a mauvey sort of like look today. I feel like I want to go for a mauve. I want something quite dark on the eyes. So I'm going to grab the shade Friend Zone, which is that shade over there. This is going to be a bit bright, but I'm going to layer darker products on top. I'm going to use this as like my transition colour, I suppose. I don't even know the terminology anymore. So this is a matte shade eyeshadow, and from what I can see, there's not much fallout when I press in the pan like that, which is desirable. I mean, it's not really an issue for me, but something I thought I would point out. I mean, obviously I'm layering more and more product, but I think the pigmentation is quite decent. That blended out pretty well. Okay, now I'm going to move on to, I'd like to say a darker shade. Maybe we'll go for that shade over there called Independent. It's got some shimmer in it. Normally I don't really like eyeshadows that have a bit of shimmer, but this is the only shade that I feel like is dark enough and in the same tone that I'd like to use. Oh, and if you guys are wondering what brushes I'm using a combination of different brushes from different brands, but I do use a lot of Sigma brushes as well. I will leave an affiliate link down in the description box down below if you guys would like to purchase Sigma brushes. I'm just going to use the same brush I used earlier for Friend Zone and just try and blend these 2 shades a little bit more. Next I'm going to grab a synthetic brush, something like this. Will she focus? Will she? No, there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna use one of these and I'm going to grab the shade I'm Fabulous, which is that one over there. Let's see if it applies well with that, otherwise I'm going to use my finger. Yeah, it's picking up a little bit of it, so I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna use my finger. I was kind of hoping to do a bit of like a cut crease, but that's okay. It is quite mushy, I have to say, but that is a very, very pretty shade. Almost kind of reminds me of a shade from Kat Von D, or KVD Beauty it's now called, from the Lolita Por Vita palette. Very similar sort of like shade, but I think this one's a little bit more on the mauve side. Okay, that's actually applied pretty well. I didn't really see much fallout. Like there's maybe like one or two bits of glitter, but that's actually pretty good. Okay, application is probably not the cleanest, but it's gonna have to do. I'm just going to grab Independent again, and I'm just gonna try and blend the area where the glitter meets the dark shadow. Alright, now I'm just going to put on some winged eyeliner. Probably should have grabbed one from Sportsgirl, but ta-da! Winged eyeliner is done. And I also decided to do my lower lash line. I wasn't really going to try out any new shades or anything. I was just pretty much using the same ones. I also added a dark, not dark. I added a black kohl liner on the waterline and then kind of like smudged it on the lower lash line, and then just used Independent and what's the other shade? Friend Zone to blend on top, and that's what we've got underneath. I'm gonna do lashes last. I just prefer doing lashes last. That's just my preference. Oh, before I forget, I'm gonna do a little bit of inner corner highlight. I'm going to grab the shade Deeply, which is like, I'd like to say a rose gold-ish sort of like shade. I think this is gonna complement this shade. I feel it looks just like a gold shade. I thought it was going to be like a rose gold, because like when you put it on the brush it has almost like a rose gold shift, but it's more gold on the skin, which isn't bad. It still complements this look, I feel. Okay, now we're going to move on to the cheek palette. Okay, so I just took the plastic off this and it's broken apart. But that's okay, it's fine. I can work with that. I might as well just hold it like this. It seems like the glue's just come off, and that's fine, it's easily fixable. Now that I'm actually looking at these shades, Vacay actually looks like it might be a really good contour shade. It's actually quite a cool tone bronzer, and I feel like that's gonna work as a contour. And then Sundress, I feel like it may work as a bronzer, it may not work as a bronzer. I feel like it's a little bit light, but we'll see. I always say that sometimes when it comes to bronzers, it's not dark enough, it's not going to show up, and it does. So I'll give this thing the benefit of the doubt to begin with. So I like to contour first, and then layer my other products on top. So I'm just going to grab Vacay on this NARS Ita brush. Yeah, that's actually, it's actually a really good contour shade. $19.95, so $20. That's really, I am shook. This is good. Okay, for blush, I feel like because I'm quite dramatic on the eyes, I don't really want to go for a very light blush, not like this. I feel like I might go for Love Buzz. Again, this one looks like it's got a little bit of shimmer. Okay, so this, first off, looks quite sheer. Okay, it's definitely giving me NARS Orgasm vibes. Like, it's got that sort of like shimmery shift. But I will say I don't know, maybe let me try and build it up first. Yeah, okay, I'm definitely getting NARS Orgasm vibes from this particular shade. Again, it's Love Buzz. It's a pretty good dupe, I have to say. It's one thing I hate about being very light blonde. Makeup in there just makes it look orange. Okay, that looks good. I feel like packing it on like that works better than like swiping with this particular blush, which is fine. Some blushes just aren't like that. So I'm just grabbing this brush. This one is the Mega Cosmetica All Over Finishing Brush. And I'm just gonna grab Sundress. I'm just gonna really pack it on because I like to go quite bronzy, particularly on the forehead. Okay, this bronzer is not bad. Just looking at it at the viewfinder and like in the mirror, it's showing up on my skin, which is good. It's not my ideal bronzer. I like to go for maybe 2 shades darker than this and definitely more on the orangey warm tone side. That's just my preference. That's just how I like to do my makeup, but it's definitely working. And by the way, if you guys are curious about my foundation shade, my complexion, I am an NC30 from MAC. I've got also these other shades that I will link on the screen just for reference so that you know if this palette is going to work for you. But I feel like if your skin tone is any deeper than me, this bronzer is probably not going to work for you. You could probably use Vacay instead, but like I said, Vacay is definitely more cool toned. Alright, now I'm going to move on to highlighter. I'm going to grab the shade Sandy Toes. Actually, I really like the fact that this kind of like broke off. It makes it easier for me to hold. Alright, here we go. Okay, not really showing up in the first dusting. Okay, now I see it. This highlighter is pretty. I can definitely see it like from there. It's quite understated, I feel. You can definitely just like add like a setting spray and this could really make your cheeks pop. Which I will actually do because I might as well show you. So I'm just using some Hyaluronic Fix Makeup Setting Spray from Revolution. So wet the brush, add a little bit more product. That's how I like to do it, and then just put it on. And yeah, see, it just enhances the highlighter. That's just my go-to technique for making highlighters pop. But I will say with this particular highlighter, it's here. I will say with this particular highlighter, it is one of those really metallic-y highlighters on my complexion. I think it's just because it's a cool toned highlighter. It's just really like boom on my skin. I feel like if you have cool toned complexion, this is probably going to work really well for you. And the fact that I had to add a little bit more just to make it kind of like really pop on my skin, it's definitely giving me that metallic line, if that makes sense. I'm sure you guys know, if you guys are highlight fanatics, like especially a few years ago that was like a big thing, like just really, you know, popping highlighter. Yeah, it's not for me, but it's pretty. I would, and I'll also say that it's not emphasizing pores or texture on my skin, so I think it's good. So far from the shades what I've tried, it's pretty good. I mean, besides that, we're gonna move on to brows. So again, I've got the brow pomade, and this one is in medium brown. That's what it looks like again. I'm just going to grab my angled brush. Alright, so I'm just going to grab it there. It's very creamy from what I can tell. And then, oof, that's a bit dark. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this quite sparingly because I think that's a little bit too dark for my liking. So very pigmented, good thing. So I'm using a very minuscule amount on this. It spreads pretty good as well, I have to say. Okay, now that I've applied a little bit more product on my brow, this shade's actually not bad. I feel like it works. I think because I've got heavier makeup, it's working. I don't think this shade on its own, like if I'm going for like a natural sort of like makeup free day and I just want my brows there, I wouldn't wear this on its own, like just because of how strong this shade is. If they had a lighter shade, like a soft brown or a lighter brown, that would be nice. Like I said, I kind of just went on the website and just chose what was available, so they might have a light shade, I'm not sure. Alright, let's move on to the lashes. I've got 4 to choose from. So the white marble is from the girls collection, the black one is the boys collection, but obviously use whatever lash you want. So I think I'm going to use one of the new ones from the boys collection. This one is in the style Dylan. It's not super dramatic compared to the other ones that I have here, but I feel like the others would be a little bit too heavy for this look. Like it's dark, but it's not too dark, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just going to pop these lashes on. I'm also going to trim them down. I feel like they're a bit too long for my eye. And then I'm also going to put on some lipstick, finish off the rest of the makeup, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts and opinions on this video. Alright guys, this is the final look and I'm pretty happy with it. So I kind of like stuck to sort of like that mauvey tone for the lips and added some gloss. I just feel like it just kind of all works together that way. Alright, so let's talk about the individual products and my thoughts and opinion. I mean, obviously you can probably tell I am pretty happy with everything. I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I knew Sportsgirl makeup was good. Like, like I said, I watched my friend Senay's videos and like I had a general idea of what they were going to be like, and I've obviously done some research, but to see them actually perform on me like this is pretty impressive. Okay, let's start with the eyeshadow palette. Let's talk about the packaging. Cardboard packaging, I like that. In terms of the overall design, I'm definitely getting the vibe that this was aimed towards someone a bit younger. Like, when I say younger, like teens to maybe early 20s, that sort of age group. That's just based on the design and everything, but obviously anyone can use this eyeshadow palette. I like the fact that the mirror isn't one of those distorted mirrors. I really appreciate that. Okay, so let's talk about the shadows themselves. Obviously I'm only going to be able to talk about the shades that I actually tried out today. So Friend Zone, which is a matte shade. It's a fairly pigmented eyeshadow. It's not the most pigmented out there, but it definitely works. And I'm pretty impressed with the quality, and it blends really well, and that's what you want in an eyeshadow. Next we've got Independent. Again, had a little bit of shimmer in it. Like, it wasn't overly shimmery, but it works. I'd say, like I said, it was more matte with flecks of shimmer. Again, worked really well, blend really well. Not the most pigmented shade out there, but it works. Now moving on to I'm Fabulous. A very chunky glitter. I really like it. And like I said, I was quite surprised that not a lot of glitter fell once I started applying with my finger. And yes, I had to apply with my finger. That's really not that surprising. Other eyeshadows that have these sort of like chunky glitter eyeshadows from more expensive brands, they're all the same pretty much. Like, I have to apply them using my finger, and that's absolutely fine. Deeply, which is that rose gold shade, like I said, it applied more gold as opposed to rose gold, like from what I can tell from here. I would have appreciated if that color translated well onto my skin, but that's fine. It might just be because of my undertone. Maybe if you had a cooler undertone, this would probably show up more true to rose gold, but anyway. For $24.95, this is an absolute steal. And if you are a beginner at makeup and you want like ideas of how to use these shades, I think this little I feel like this little thing here at the back, illustration at the back, is going to be quite helpful if you're not really sure about what shades to pair with what. Okay, for the cheek palette, this one I feel it's quite glitzy glam, and I really like that. Obviously, besides the packaging issue that I have with this, that, you know, the glue coming off, it's pretty good. I like the packaging. It's like decent cardboard. I also like that texture effect. I don't know. It's little details like that really get to me. And then the same thing, decent mirror that doesn't warp your face. In terms of the products themselves, they performed really well. Again, the highlighter, probably not something that I would normally wear these days, just because it is slightly on the cooler side of things, and it's not as pigmented. I don't know if I explained that really. I don't know if I explained that really well when I was doing the demo. I prefer highlighters that are quite pigmented, but also not give me that super metallic-y look. A good example would be the Molten Gold highlighter from Maybelline. That's a really good one. Now the bronzer Sundress. It works. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say that it didn't work. It definitely did work. I just prefer a slightly orangey undertone and maybe deeper. Again, like I said in the demo, if you have a fairer complexion, it's probably going to work out better for you. And then in terms of vacay, pleasantly surprised I could use it as a contour. I can definitely see myself using this palette again, so don't be surprised if I start using this more in my tutorials. In terms of Love Buzz, like I said, very reminiscent of NARS Orgasm, especially now that I've put the setting spray and it's knocked off that powdery finish. Not that any of these were like chalky or anything, but like you get the idea on freshly applied makeup. The two other shades I didn't get to try, obviously. I think the next time I use this palette I'm going to try Sunshine and see if that works for my skin. Moving on to the brow pomade, again another product that I was a little bit hesitant to use but actually pleasantly surprised. In terms of the shade medium brown, I probably wouldn't use this like I said as like my minimal makeup or no makeup brow product, just because it is quite strong, especially with my current hair color. I have to kind of like balance it out with stronger eye makeup to make it look all harmonious. Like I said, I feel like if I had the brows like this strong and like very light makeup, I feel like it would be a little bit too much. Unbalanced is the word. But in terms of the formula itself, I am pretty happy with it. Okay, in terms of lashes, now I'm not going to be biased because I know Jacob and he's my friend or anything like that. I genuinely do like his lashes. I feel like his style of lashes, like the very dramatic ones, are definitely my style, like because I like super extra lashes. I wanted to try one of the other bigger lashes, but I felt like it was going to be a bit too much for this look, hence why I went with Dylan, and I'm pretty happy that I chose that because I feel like it's just right for this look. Also with these particular lashes, I also like the fact that you can build mascara on top of them to make them extra fuller, to make them extra, and they're fine, they look nice and they're quite comfortable on the lash line. I don't know if this is just for this particular lash, but Dylan has a transparent band. I don't know if I mentioned that. So you just make sure you put on a little bit of eyeliner on top, liquid eyeliner, and then it will just hide that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My voice has gone funny. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, I did a video using Kmart makeup, so if you guys would like to watch that, I will link it on the screen using the eye, don't remember which side it is, and also down in the description box down below for you guys. And yeah, if you guys would like me to try out makeup from a particular brand here in Australia, definitely let me know down in the comment box down below. I think the next one I'll do is maybe Priceline or Chemist Warehouse. But yeah, let me know what you guys would like to see. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys would like to see more behind the scenes of me, definitely check out my vlogging channel and also my Instagram, which will be linked down in the description box down below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.